There we go. I think you can see the whole screen.
Okay, so yesterday we left off with the Gauls coming to Cicero, and what did they have to say to Cicero yesterday? Mm-hmm. Yes, as far as we can tell, I mean, we don't want to, yes, but we do need to think critically, like, does he portray him positively? It's sort of a, and because leadership styles is definitely one of our themes that we need to be thinking about, right? So I do a terrible job at teaching those, but part of the AP test is these things called themes, and it's like Roman views of non-Romans, epics and commentary, leadership styles, history and memory, the God's roles in history and memory, and there's all these different things. For the most part, as far as I can see, you know, we're on year 8 of this new form of the test. And as far as we can tell, with them having finally released a version of the test, those themes apply to your essays. So those are all, they kind of, as far as I can tell, they kind of center around the types of questions that they're going to ask for your essays. Okay. So, Allison, actually behind my desk is this purple folder. Would you mind if I go get that? It says AP, it's on the floor. Yes, that one. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So they sent us out brand spiffy new Bibles.
Were you wrong though?
And you're done. Everybody just go home. We are. We're recording. You're all dismissed. Okay, so our themes are literary style and genre, Roman values, war and empire, leadership, views of non-Romans, history and memory, and human beings and the gods. What? Yes, the essays. So, it's the description that they have given to us in our teaching Bible. These themes are neither prescriptive nor required, but are rather meant to promote an integration of language, course content, and culture, and provide connections that enrich student understanding. Revisiting the themes in a variety of contexts and content allows students to develop deeper conceptual and cultural knowledge of Roman civilization. The course also encourages instruction that prepares students for intermediate and advanced study of classical literature at the college level and ensures that students are exposed to both poetry and prose authors. I'm just gonna keep my thoughts to myself on that. Okay. Anyways, but that is the goal. I'm gonna go ahead and connect because I pretty much got this set up and ready for you. So the themes, like that's why, like with Caesar, it's really, really easy to see leadership. Yes? Like, he definitely did a good job of contrasting the leadership styles of Sabinus versus Cotta, and we really, really made sure that we understand how Caesar's portraying them as leaders, because their leadership style is a reflection on his leadership style, right? So with Cicero, he has a little bit of a different situation. First of all, he doesn't have two that kind of are combating each other. He just has Cicero. And then 3, so far, Cicero has done everything by the book. Right? Okay? So, Cicero's family, I wish I knew more about this particular Cicero than I do. But what I can tell you is that Cicero's family was new to the political world, at least. Right? So, not the Cicero that's in the book, but his brother. Okay, the guy that I can't stand because he's so full of himself. Alright, except for you guys, one of your sight readings that you just did is De Amicitia, and he did like a essay about friendship, which is what De Amicitia is. That's tolerable. It's every other time, like he wrote letters about how his life was threatened, and so you weren't allowed to have armed guards within the city limits, and you weren't allowed to be armed within the city limits, but he was still going around with like a little sword, and he had like his armed guards around him who had their big swords, and they were like, why are you walking around armed? That's illegal. And he's like, my life is threatened. By my hand have I snatched Rome from fire and from brimstone. By my sword. I'm like, oh my god. Okay. And I was just a little, what was I? I was a sophomore when I was introduced to that. It was a terrible introduction. Really terrible. What they say about first impressions is very true. Never got over that first impression. I'm like, who is this guy? And who more importantly, who does he think he is? Anyways, so what was the point of that conversation, you're wondering? Well, the point of that conversation is he was, in politics, he was a novus homo. Yes? Okay, not homo as in Greek, meaning the same. Homo as in Latin, homo hominis, meaning human. Yes? Okay, human. So he was a new human in politics. Human. You could say human if you want, but if you want to judge how tired Whipple is, how can she say her ooze?
I can understand for that.
Yeah, can she say her ooze? Human? Human. Nope, can't say it. Anyways, so, he's a new human, is the point. Okay? But leadership, all of these things, they're supposed to be like little sub-things that they tell us. But the main thing that we're looking at in Book 5 of De Bello Gallico is definitely like war and empire, leadership, and history and memory. Yes? Everybody good? Okay. Yes, these units are beautiful. Thank you, but I'm not using them. We'll use this particular format next. That's why it was on the floor in the first place. It's an awkward size. Okay, so 42, again, still, I know I keep saying it, I say it every day, still trying really hard to not do what Fast Talker does, because you have him doing that. You don't need to spend an hour with me doing the same thing he does in 10 minutes. But I am going to read the translation to you really quickly. Is that helpful when I read the translation to you guys out loud? Okay. Alrighty, so Chidi Book says, repulsed from this hope, the Nervii understood the Roman camp with a wall of 9 feet and a ditch of 15 feet. They had learned these things also from us through the experience of previous years, and were taught by those whom they held secretly as captives from army, understood the Roman army. But since there was no supply of tools which was suitable for this use, they were seen to cut the sod with swords, and to remove the earth with their hands and their cloaks. Indeed, from this action the number of men could be learned, for in less than 3 hours they completed a fortification of 3 miles in circumference. On the remaining days they began to prepare and make siege towers about the wall, and Chidi Book supplies height of the Roman wall hooks, and movable shelters, which the captives had also taught them. Okay? Oh, teaching note, fun teaching note. At the beginning of the film, Asterix et Obelix contre Caesar, Caesar is reviewing his legions and orders them to form a tortoise, and they make the military formation described. So if you were using this book, it would be, that's Perry, so Deja Makayo, if you wanted to get it and look at it, Perry, it's on page 152 of this, the blue one with white. Caesar is confused by this, is told by his officers that what he sees is a tortoise in military language, and then he wants a real tortoise, whereupon the soldiers instantly reform into the shape of an actual tortoise. This funny scene is very short and could be used even if you have access only to the French version of the movie. We'll look into that. Oh, there's a resource list on the Teacher's Companion website. We'll see. We'll look at it. Remind me of that, and we'll do that in a little bit. So, let me see. Page 152. What is the note here? Okay, so when he says testudo testudinus, and it's towards the end of this particular passage, it's a mobile shelter for attackers. And here this refers to wheeled sheds called mantlets or mantelets open at the front. And there's actually an illustration. Oh, here, I show you. I think I can show you on the camera. Give me 1 second. It looks like this. Okay, so that is a testudo, right? It's a movable shed designed to provide shelter for the besiegers as they attacked the walls. The roof was covered with animal skins soaked in water to resist attempts by the defenders to set the wooden structure on fire.
Big brain.
Big brain. Romans were brilliant engineers, yes? It looks like it. Yeah, I think it's sort of like a movable doghouse that has no bottom, and so it looks like they pick it up and hold it by those poles across.
So they're like inside out there.
Yeah. So I think my pen is still broken. I think I need a new. Battery. But anyways, so testudo. We'll input it here. Right. So, as far as I can tell, it is floorless. I imagine they could sleep in it, but that's not really what it's designed for. It's designed to help them take down the walls without being attacked from above. Right? Okay. So, we're going to see that in 43 as well, I believe. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. That's fine. Okay. There's a little thing where they're like, we're not sure how this is supposed to read. Remember we talked about different forms of the text? So, is that better? Closer to your lines? Do you care anymore?
It's
Pretty close? I can go out a little bit farther.
that.
Like that?
Maybe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That'll be pretty
Good
close.
enough.
Okay. I remember I used to spend it would take me 10 minutes a day to get that exact. And it's not that I don't care anymore, it's that I don't have, yeah. So, okay. Was there anything that Fast Talker said that you guys specifically wanted to ask about? Good. A little bit simpler, a little bit more straightforward. One thing I do want to talk about, what case is pedum? Pen doesn't work. Pedum.
Genitive.
It is! Very good. It is genitive, and I know he told you that, which is fine. But
He didn't tell us.
he didn't tell you?
No.
Good job, Sienna. Alright, so why is it genitive?
Isn't it like neuter second?
So that's actually third declension genitive plural.
Third.
Yep, third declension genitive plural. Oh my god. Genitive plural. But it's genitive because we have this thing called the genitive of definite measurement. Let me look and see if this is on your pages for you still. I might have to, I think I need to, oh, I don't want to click on that because that's going to show you grades. That's not good. Okay, here we go. Okay. Look, if I click on the snowman, it makes it snow. See? Woo!
Only.
We do not want to get off of our schedule right now. We are scheduled to hit Dido and Aeneas on February 14th. We're very excited about that. I need to get that planned. The plan is we're gonna bring in Max and Carrie and Deja and Micaiah, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be so much fun. Okay, so what was I gonna do? I was gonna show you something. I think I need to bring over all your pages. And I think right now your pages are empty, right? I hate how we have to start over every semester. Yep, it's all empty. Okay, well. I will have for you provided pages, and it should have all the different case usages right here. So let's look at nominative and genitive. So we have the genitive case, all the different kinds of genitive. Okay, we have genitive of the whole or positive genitive, and this is actually why, no, just kidding. Genitive of definite measurement is what's going on here. Okay, so whenever it says, ab hoc spe repulsi nervii wallo pedum novum et fossa pedum that's quindecim hiberna cingunt. Okay, so they surrounded the winter camps. They surround, present tense. Pen no work. Okay, they surround the winter camp. Yes, that's your object. With a wall and with a ditch. And that would be fine to just stop there, right? But then we have our genitive of definite measurement. Did Fast Talker talk about this at all? No? He didn't even mention that it was genitive?
Yeah.
I like that kind of looks like eyeballs. Okay, so these are both genitive because it's genitive of definite measurement. And what happens is just in Latin, whenever you're talking about a measurement more than one, it's 3 of those things or 10 of those things. Like a 3-hour test would be a test of 3 hours. Okay? A 10-foot wall, actually a 9-foot wall is what we have here. It's actually a wall of 9 feet. Yes? Okay? So, I'll make sure that you have these. There are exercises here as well. I think I have them set up as some kind of something somewhere. I know that's helpful. I know those things. Anyways, but yes, so pedum is genitive because that's what we do whenever we're talking about a measurement. Okay? Everybody good with wallow and fossa, ablative of means? Yes? Okay, repulsi. That is ablative. Oh, superiorum. Everybody see that eor? And I could ask you, what degree of comparison is this? So, and that would be an adjective adverb question, right? Remember, we're talking about adjectives and adverbs. We have positive, comparative, and superlative. So which one is superiorum with that eor? Yes. Good job. Comparative. We talked about that up here. Okay. Maybe not. No, we didn't. We talked about it somewhere. Do you want me to talk about it again? Yes, no? Do you guys remember how to make the positive, comparative, and superlative? Okay. Would it be helpful to talk about that? Yes. Okay. I'm gonna type. Because my pen needs a new battery. I hope that's all that's wrong. It's a $50 pen. Okay, so degrees. We have a positive, which would be good. We have comparative, which would be better. And we have superlative, which would be best. Is this looking familiar now? Yes? Kind of, sort of? Okay. Alright, so that's the degrees that we have. The adjectives and adverbs have these: positive, comparative, superlative. Okay, you could have gooder, better, best. That's not what I meant at all. Good, better, best. Okay. Water. I even had a monster with lunch and I'm still struggling. Like, this is a whole new level of struggle. Like, okay. So, remember, whenever you look up an adjective, for instance, lightus, lighta, lightum, or what's a good third declension one? Something that's oh, we'll do ingens. Ingens, huge. Ingens, ingentis. Okay? So remember, the ones that go us, those are first and second declension adjectives, meaning you're going to use first and second declension, right? And then you have all different kinds of third declension adjectives, but we have ingens, ingentis. This one is interesting. It's called a one termination adjective, and that means that ingens is nominative neuter, nominative feminine, and nominative masculine singular. Okay. All right. So and there's all of those. You know, we've kind of went through all of those things that third declension adjectives do that are weird up here. You've got the I box. You've got they're all I stems, so they're going to go eum. The neuter plural is going to go ia because it's a neuter I stem. So ingens is going to do all of those things. So really, you just have masculine, feminine, and then neuter just for its little weird things that it does. Okay. So this is the positive. Yes, when you look it up in the dictionary, it gives you the positive. Okay? The comparative is, of course, built with the positive because that's how Latin works, right? They give you the Lego foundations in the dictionary, and then you take all of your Lego add-on pieces and you mod the base Lego set. Yes? Okay. So, comparative, we're going to add eor for the masculine feminine and eus for the neuter. Okay? So we go to our stem. Remember, that's the part that carries through no matter, like, you drop all the endings off, so you got your stem. So for lightus, for example, it becomes lightior, lightius. And then the nice thing about this is it doesn't matter what kind of adjective it is. They all do the same thing. You go and find your stem. Again, the stem is the part that you're sticking all the endings onto the end. So you have ingent, eor, ingentius. Huger. I know that's not a word, but you get it, yes? More huge. Huge. Bigger. But this is bigger than big. Indians is like massive. More massive. Okay? The key to remember for the neuter is when it's being declined is it goes ingentior, ingentius, ingentioris. So it does exactly what the other one does, just with its new weird neuter things. And they follow third declension rules. They don't follow third declension adjective rules because they're not I stems. Everybody with me? Do you need to see a chart or are you good just listening? I can do a chart. Ingentius, ingentioris, ingentiori, ingentius, this is the neuter, ingentiore, and then again neuter, ingentiora, ingentiorum, ingentiora, nope, just kidding, ibus, ingentior, everybody see where this is going? Ingentioribus. And the masculine and feminine do the same thing except it starts with ingentior and it doesn't do the ora. And the neuter, the accusative is ingentiorem. Okay? gonna get into the weird little things the superlative, we're not gonna get into the weird little things that superlative does. Because it's not as straightforward for some things. But, in general, like maybe 75% of the time, you're just gonna use isimus, isima, isimu. Okay? In general, like 70% of the time. Okay? Maybe like 29% of the time, you'll do erimus, erima, erimum. It's actually like 29.9% of the time. Okay? I am going to get into the weird things because now that I figured out how to explain it very quickly. Okay? And then there are exactly 6 that go ilimus, ilima, ilimum. And that is for facile, difficile, similis, dissimilis. I don't know why I suddenly switched to not A, but it's okay. I'm sorry. It's the same. It's all the same. Facile is just the neuter. Facilis, difficilis, similis, dissimilis, gracilis, and humilis. Those are the only ones that go ilimus, ilima, ilimum. Okay? Yes. Is that right? Similibus. Yes. You know when you say things, you're like, did I make that up? You're like, no, it's just that silly. Okay. Okay, so for example, litus becomes litissimus, litissima, litissimum. Ingens becomes ingentissimus, ingentissima, ingentissimum. Now, the one that goes erimus would be like pulcherimus, pulcherima, pulcherimum, or calerimus, calerima, calerimu. Okay, and then like facilis would become, was it 1 L or 2? I reserve the right to go back and take off an L. Facilima, facilimum. Possibly. I could have spelled it wrong. There could be just 1 L. And yes, it matters, and no, I'm not going to look it up because I'm too tired. Okay? Now the nice thing is, these are all first and second declension adjectives. So positive, you have to look at the dictionary entry to figure out if you're going to use first, second, or third. Comparative are all third. And positive are all first and second. So superiorum in this sentence actually just means like previous. So in more above years, right? Previous years. So in previous years. Okay. Of previous years, sorry. Okay. Helpful? Yes, no, maybe so? Hello? Where did I do? Ah. There we go. Now I won't get lost again. Okay. Everybody see cognoverant? Tell me everything you know about cognovirant.
NT, so that's like,
Perfect. NT tells you they, so that is, tells you two things.
Third.
It has
Third person, plural. Okay. Two other things that you need to know about verbs. Voice. Active, good. And indicative, subjunctive, or imperative. Nope, this is the indicative. Pluperfect subjunctive does the isse thing. Yeah. Okay. Quos is a weird thing. Because we need to find our antecedent. So you could argue that the antecedent is nobis, but the antecedent kind of makes more sense with captivos. What do you guys think?
words.
Words? Ah. This is interesting. The translation that I'm looking at says that the antecedent of quos is eis. They were taught by those whom they secretly held captive from our army. So, post antecedent, yes? Doge Bantor, tell me everything you know about Doge Bantor. Good. That's the biggest one. It's passive. It is imperfect. It is plural.
Third person.
Third person. And indicative or subjunctive? No, babies. Shepes are indicative. You're never gonna see a subjunctive shepe.
6 hour.
No, I know. We all need to write a letter saying, please no, for the advanced classes 6th hour.
No, it's just a letter that says just please no.
Please no.
Yes.